A brilliant, incredible, amazing entry for KZ2. 93 drivers join us for round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series in the shifter kart category. It has been ferociously competitive, as you would expect. In just a few moments, 36 road racing rocket ships will take to the track for the final. Before we get there, let's take a look at some of the highlights of what has happened so far this week in a record-breaking weekend here at LONATO. Stan Pegs in the SP Motorsport Kart Republic is about to start the final from pole position in a few moments' time. Matteo Viganò is back with us for round 2 of the series. The Lennox Racing team driver will start on the outside of the front row of the grid. Kart 39, the fastest qualifier, Emilian Denner and Senna van Walstein, flying the flag for the Saudi Kart Racing team. Adrian Renaudin, the former WSK Neuro champion with the green team for 2022 in the 2 Vortex-powered Tony Kart. The sun is shining, thankfully, and in just a few moments, the track will erupt. Stan Pegs will start on pole position for this 21-lap 25-kilometre final, 25.2 to be precise. The standing start, 36 karts on the grid. This will be something spectacular. Senna van Walstein won the WSK Champions Cup on January 23rd to start the 2022 season. He also won round 1 of the series 2 weeks ago. He is the championship leader, but hasn't had it all his way this weekend. Senna van Walstein starts on the 6th row of the grid, which we'll take a look at for you in just a moment. There is Stan Pegs to the right of your screen. The SP Motorsport driver, he won the WSK Champions Cup on a freezing, wet, cold, rainy grey day in Adria in 2017. Now driving a Kart Republic powered by the TM. On the outside of the front row of your screen, Il Bergamasco. That is Matteo Viganò, Kart 31 for the Lennox Racing team, driving the Charles Leclerc chassis. Second row of the grid, David Trefilov, the Russian-German, who won the pre-final this morning. His pre-final, that was. Kart 51 for SRP Racing Maranello. Still a few moments before the start. 36 karts on the grid for this, the final for KZ2. Take a look back a little bit to Jeremy Iglesias. He starts on the 5th row of the grid. What an interesting few days he's had over at the Brignoles circuit, which is still run and managed by the Bianchi family. He was actually testing with Danny Kvyat, former racer with us in WSK, as well as Alex Albon, who's about to line up on the grid for Williams in the FIA Formula 1 World Championship, along with those 2 F1 drivers and Jeremy the Jet Iglesias. The CRG driver was Daniil Medvedev, the Russian, who was in the Australian Open tennis final just a few weeks ago, having his first taste of professional karting. And what better way to do it than with the 2020 world champion Jeremy Iglesias, the Williams F1 driver, Alex Albon, and Danny Kvyat, the former Toro Rosso and Red Bull F1 driver as well, at the Brignoles circuit. Speaking of superstars in KZ2, Marc Marquez, how about he and Alex Marquez, the 2 MotoGP world champions, testing the CRG KZ chassis at the El Vendrell circuit over in Spain a couple of weeks ago. And by all accounts, Marc Marquez was pretty impressive, as you'd expect from a MotoGP world champion, and could probably slot into this grid quite comfortably. Beating Stan Pegs, though, well, that's another issue. You look at the Dutchman, the kleine Pegs in the erste Positie. Stan out of grid 1, the youngest of the Pegs brothers. Kart 13 alongside Viganò, Il Bergamasco on the outside of the front row of the grid. 93 drivers, can you believe, in KZ2. Just giving you the numbers again in case you haven't heard it already 10 times. I'll tell you 11 times. 351 drivers from 55 nations all around the world. This is the biggest event ever in WSK history. Speaking of history, the first ever WSK International Series was won by the late great Jules Bianchi in KZ2, and that coincidentally was driving a Maranello kart, the late great Jules. Maranello kart being represented by Duffy Trefilov, the SRP factory team. There is the Russian-German Kart 51. On the second row of the grid, Pedrito on the inside of the second row in a 16 Birol Art. The WSK Supermaster Series Championship, which dates back to 2010. The former champions in KZ2, Batske Visa way back in 2010, Marco Zanchetta, Jordan Lennox Lamb in the CRG, Max won it in 2013, Marco Ardigo 14 and 15, Leo Lorandi, 4Baby Racing 16, Boom Boom Bass in 2017, and it was Marco again, Ardigo that is, in 2018, Lammers again for the Sodicar team in 19, Simo Pulhaka, who's with us this afternoon, starting further back on the grid than he'd like, and the reigning champion MK for the Birolart team in 2021. Let's take a look at the grid. Stan Peck's on pole position alongside Matteo Viganò, Duffy Trefilov, Pedrito Hilpren, Emilian Denner, the fastest qualifier, out of 5 alongside another Frenchman, Adrien Renaudin. Zanchi, Palomba, Jeremy out of 9, and Il Toscano, Alessio Piccini. Senna van Wallstein, the round 1 winner, the series leader, is alongside David Levinsky. Gustafsson, who won round 1 of the championship in 2021 alongside Carbonell. Luye, Pavel Tontari, Alex Irlando, Jenna Civico, Tom Luye, and Lawrence Van Oppen. Yarislav Shevritalov for Team Komarov. Danilo Albanese, Moritz Ebner, Daniel Vasile, Juho Valtonen, and Il Siciliano, Alex Marigliano. Norton and Noah Millell, the reigning world champion. The two Swedes ahead of David Forte. Welcome back to the legend that is the 4-time world champion Davide Forte. Simon Prim, Paolo Ippolito, Arvid Lindblad out of 32, Jorge Pescador, Daniel Stell, Ivan Ikelchik, and Jean Louye out of grid 36. Yes, you heard right, Davide Forte is back. He's been super impressive all weekend. Did have a DNF though, was consistently in the top 6 and top 8 throughout his heats, but had one DNF and a crash down the back straight, which cost him big time and a track position, or grid position for the final. The 92 Drago course of Davide Forte, European champion, driving a Rotax 100cc, not the current version, a good old 20,000 RPM screamer. Tony Kart, I think it was what, an Osprey? No, probably a Formula back in 1994. World champion in 1998 at Ugento. Braga 2000, La Conca 2004, and Angeville 2006. 47 years of age, and the legend is back with us for round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series. Starting on the 5th row of the grid alongside the German, Simon Prim. Stand to the right of your screen, Matteo to the left. Naught to 100 in less than 3 seconds. Almost 50 horsepower being generated by each of these 125cc KZ2 engines. Stampex to the right of your screen on pole position, but we'll go around one more time. Something of an anticlimax as we have one stall at the back of the pack. Problem for Noah Millell. We're looking for the reigning world champion who has had a miserable weekend, to be perfectly honest, this weekend. The number 1 Tony Kart was to have started alongside his countryman, Norton Andreasen, on the 14th row of the grid. We're looking on our timing screen and it looks as though Noah is about to miss the start. Also a problem for Simon Prim and Daniel Stell. No problem for Stan. His 21-lap final at this world-famous circuit, South Garda karting, built by the Corberti family back in 1988. So we try one more time. Round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series. Sander van Walstein won the season opening WSK Champions Cup right here on a freezing cold day 3 weeks ago, the 23rd of January. He won round 1, but Sander van Walstein starts the final from the 6th row of the grid. Emilian Denner, his teammate, the 3rd row. There's the 39 Sodi Kart just ahead of Matteo Zanchi in the 93 Birolart. Let's say it one more time. Welcome to the center of the karting universe, South Garda Karting Lonato. Round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series, this record-breaking season, this record-breaking event, the biggest in the 17-year history of WSK promotion. The kleine Pex in the erste Position. And we race. Pex launches off the line. Viganol tries to go with him. And David Trefilov in the Maranello kart just sends it up the inside. Tries to go through to position 2. He's done so. Viganol back to 3rd. We had one of the CRGs going very wide at the exit of turn 1 and 2. We'll tell you who that was in a moment. It was in fact Victor Gustafsson, so the driver who won the Champions Cup in the first round of the Supermaster Series in 2021 in the grass on the opening lap of the race. Effectively, his chances of winning this afternoon are already gone. Stan Pex is also gone. He's got a nice lead from the Russian-German in the Maranello kart. There's Viganol, and here come the attack from the Birolart team. Giuseppe Palomba in kart 18, Pedro in kart 16. Palomba on the inside of Matteo Viganol. So Il Bergamasco is just ahead of Il Napolitano, but not for long. Palomba sends it down the inside. And the driver from Naples, where we race the season-deciding round of the WSK Supermaster Series on March 13. Palomba goes through to position 3. There's Hilbrand. El Catalan is just behind Viganol, who's struggling for momentum. Just in the first few corners of this race here, Matteo Viganol launched it off the line, but just ran out of bitumen as the track just veered to the left and then the right, where they're about to go now. There's Sander van Walstein, 19 years of age yesterday, for the championship leader. He's made a good start. He comes across the line in position 7, just ahead of his former teammate, Adrien Renaudin. There is the number 2 Tony Kart off the Frenchman. Sander van Walstein goes defensive as Trefilov slips down the inside. And the ruthless racing Russian-German driver for the Italian Maranello SRP racing team goes through to take the top spot. Stan all over the back of the red and yellow machine. The end of the 3rd lap already about to be completed. As we lose one of the CRGs, it's Jeremy Iglesias walks back forlornly to the pits. The 2020 world champion is out. The CRG attack has been reduced by 1. Trefilov spectacular down into turns 1 and 2. Just clipped the bumps. The kart got airborne at over 130 k's an hour. Looks over his right shoulder back to Pex. Then it's Palomba and Hilbrand. Giuseppe is kart 18. Hilbrand is kart 16. Then it's Denner and Sander van Walstein. Denner, the fastest qualifier. He won this round of the Supermaster Series in 2021, but that was driving an Intrepid. The French driver for the French team in 2022 promptly parked the 39 Sodi Kart Sigma on pole position in timed qualifying with a blistering time of 45.272. His teammate Sander van Walstein, he was fastest in his group of qualifying, but didn't have a good run in his final heat yesterday. But boy, oh boy, has the 19-year-old Dutchman got it all together. He's up to P6, he's just gone purple. He's got clear track. Pex has to defend. How good is the Dutchman? So wily, unintimidatable is Stan Pex. He knew the attack was coming from the team from Lissone and just drifted to the middle of the circuit. Palomba, Hilbrand, they have to try again as Senna is now on the back of the Birolart. Denner is up to P4. Pex is allowing Trefilov to have his moment in the sun for the moment, but he'll attack The Russian-German driver imminently. Senna Van Wallstein has gone purple in the first 10 second sectors, and then he hits traffic. He's just under 46.172. The early stages of the KZ2 final, round 2 of the WSK Supermasters Series. Did you see Trefeloff and Peck simultaneously both look over their right shoulders back to Il Napolitano, Giuseppe Palomba. The reigning champion is their teammate, Moraine Kramers, who's watching on live from the other side of the Atlantic. MK, hope you're enjoying yourself racing in the SCUSA Winter Series over in Miami, where I can promise you it is probably a whole lot warmer than it here is at LONATO this afternoon. Kramers, the reigning WSK Supermasters Series champion, his teammates running positions 3 and 5. The Birillard team, third with Palomba, fifth with Pedro Hilbrand as Denner in the Sodi Kart Sigma now goes purple, a 45.826. Picks down the inside, Trefilov just goes in deep, and Stan will have to try again. Palomba is catching the Dutchman though. If Stan doesn't launch for the lead, he'll be attacked by the first of the Birillard. So it's Maranello P1, Kart Republic P2, Birillard P3, and the first of the French machines in position 4. 1/4 race distance we have already completed. There's Denner just ahead of Pedro and Senna Van Wallstein. We'll keep you up to date with the virtual championship at this, the halfway point of the 2022 Supermaster Series. As it stands still, admittedly with a long way to go, Trefilov would take the lead from Van Wallstein into round 3 at Sano for KZ2. KZ2, of course, having the bye next time out at La Conca Bordo World Circuit. Trefilov 168 points as it stands, 131 to Senna Van Wallstein. Down through the chicane, the Russian-German driver, depending on which day of the week it is, he's under immense pressure, driving the SRP Racing Maranello kart. Engines tuned by both Mike Sebecki and Fabian Federer, both former superstar drivers. Now running the SRP Maranello factory team outfit. And Duffy Trefilov in P1. There's Vigano going through in position 7 ahead of Carbonell. Good drive from Duffy Levinsky. The pole up into P9, and he's just on the fastest first sector as Denner shoots down the inside. Looks right at the Italian Palomba. The Frenchman through to position 3. The Birillards 4 and 5. Here comes Senna. Van Wallstein trying to pick up the first of the karts from Lissone. Pex, meanwhile, tries to attack Trefilov. This is turning into a thrilling battle. The KZ2 final round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series here at the center of the karting universe, South Garda Karting. Trefilov accelerates under the bridge at near on 140 k's an hour. The kart bucks over the bumps. He rides the grip stand Pex, slightly smoother line in the Kart Republic, but David, who looks again over his right shoulder, is in position 1. The Birillards trade positions with a far from clean move. Hilbrand in Kart 16, going by Palomba in Kart 18. Senna's in between the both of them. You do get the sense that if Senna Van Wallstein can get by, which he's about to do right now, not in a clean fashion though. Oh, he loses the place. That did not work for the Dutchman. He's got the speed, but not the track position. Shake and bake from the Birillard teammates. Cal Norton Jr. and Ricky Bobby. That was Palomba and Hilbrand. They did not let the Sodi kart of the Dutchman by. Slingshotting each other. And now Senna Van Wallstein, who dominated the first round of the championship, has to try again. He's losing a ton of time. Senna Van Wallstein back in position 6. He's now almost 2.5 seconds off the race lead. Trefilov controlling the pace beautifully. He's the young Russian-German driver for the Maranello team. He won the Industrial Trophy here at the LONATO circuit at the end of 2021. Super talent, flying the flag for the Maranello team, which of course took victory in 2008 with WF4A at the Suzuka Super KF World Cup in Japan over a decade ago. 4A still circulating on his return back to the track. P25 at the moment behind Renault Dunn, head of Norton Andreasen in this 93 kart field for KZ2. With past half race distance, Trefilov He's doing all the hard work. Stan Pex has got the pace. He's just waiting, but he's been caught by Emilian Denner. They are burning through these Vega tyres, which are being tortured. It has 50 horsepower, and he's put through the 50mm axles of these KZ2 karts. Denner goes in very deep under brakes, loses some time on the exit. There's Senna van Wallstein. First in line for Senna is Palomba, and then Pedro Hilbrand, if he can get past. A victory for the Dutchman this afternoon is looking increasingly unlikely. Viganò back into P7 from Carbonell. Great drive from Lewinsky. Head of Matteo Zanchi, Tom Louillet. Samuel Louillet, no relation, different surname despite the pronunciation. And it's Lorenz van Hoppen up into position 13, also for the Lennox Racing Team from grid 20. Then it's Piccini, Alex Irlando, Jenna Civico, Daniel Vasile, Tontari, Ebner, and Yaroslav Shevritalov for Team Komarov rounds out the 20. Denner is right on the back of the Russian, who's fallen back to second place. You can see Stan has gone through. He's taken the lead. Nice pass right then from Stan Pex. Looks over his right shoulder. Trefilov does the same. Denner. This is on in the next few laps. Stan Pex, can he take a brilliant victory here this afternoon? Front and centre of your screen is Stan Pex, as he was after his best mate Max won the 2021 FIA Formula One World Championship in that nail-biting finish in Abu Dhabi. We've never seen Stan on TV smiling so much than when he was down in the pit lane at the Yas Marina circuit, the end of 2021. I think he's still celebrating that victory, and he'll do likewise this afternoon if he can hold on for another 7 laps. Trefilov smashes the inside ripple strip in the Maranello kart. The front three have pulled away. Stan Pex in the Kart Republic. Trefilov in the Maranello, and Emilian Denner. Nice move by Stan Pex to go through and take the lead away from Trefilov, but he can't bridge the gap. Down through the chicane, there is Pedro. El Catalan still in P4 from Matteo Viganò, who's got by Palomba, and Senna van Wallstein will not go 2 victories in a row, 3 for that matter. If we count the Champions Cup, he's stuck back in 7th and cannot get by the Napolitano driver, Giuseppe Palomba. The rest of the field coming through: Zanchi, Louillet, Van Hoppen, Piccini, Irlando, Civico, Vasile, Pavo Tontari, Ebner, and Alex Marigliano. Just goes in very deep under brakes, does Stan. Puts the Kart Republic in the middle of the circuit. We'll use that same word. He is unintimidatable. Declaimer Pex just chokes the engine ever so slightly down through the chicane. Gets plenty of penta fuel running into the 125cc TM power plant. Denner over the back. Denner down the inside and just forces his way by. Nice pass by the Frenchman. Can he attack Stan for P1? 5 laps remaining in the KZ2 final round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series here at South Garda Karting. Stan looks over his shoulder. It's not a Maranello in second anymore. Emilian Denner, the fastest qualifier. A 45.272 48 hours ago to put the 39 Sodi Kart Sigma on pole position for the heats. We raced 18 heats on Friday. We raced 28 yesterday. 8 pre-finals this morning in this record-breaking weekend. 351 drivers from 55 nations all around the world, every populated continent, and 93 alone in the KZ2 category. 4 laps to the checkered flag. Pex, Denner, Trefilov, Hilbrand, Viganò, and Senna has finally got by Giuseppe Palomba. There's the Dutchman in P6, celebrating his 19th birthday here at the circuit yesterday. The CPB Sport / Sodi Kart team driver. The team of Paul Bizalion working together with the Sodi Kart factory team. They finished 1, 2, 3 in the season opening Champions Cup. They won't do it again here this afternoon, but they may take the victory with Denner. Denner in kart 39. Trying to attack Stan. He'll have 3 laps to do it. There is Hilbrand and Viganò. Matteo has got by El Catalan. There's Senna Van Walstein, won't take the win this afternoon. He can't do it. His perfect start to 2022 is about to come to an end. Down into the pit hairpin for the third to last time. Denner has to defend from Trefilov. Stan is looking good. Catching Pex will be one thing, but getting by will certainly be another. Yes, that's a cliche, but it applies no more absolutely than when you pass or even catch one of the toughest drivers in world karting, Stan Pex, younger brother of 2015 world champion Yori Pex, and the older brother Yard Pex. There's Richard Pex. May get a glimpse of him in a few moments, watching on from the grandstand. His boy potentially can take a brilliant victory here this afternoon. The penultimate lap of the KZ2 final, round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series. Senna Van Walstein still stuck back in position 6. Trefilov has a big look at the back of Denner, desperate to take the victory. He finished in P3 in the opening round of the championship, and it looks as though he'll repeat that here this afternoon. May well take the lead into the series final as he dives down the inside. Denner does not give him space, runs him off the circuit. They're side by side. Brilliant, tough racing between these world-class drivers. And with that look at the lead, they have given the kleine Pex. It's time to break out the famous line. Dit is the laatste ronde for the kleine pilot van the Netherlands in the eerste positie. Stan Pex on his way to a brilliant victory. Denner is fighting with Trefilov. He's in P2. Trefilov looks over his shoulder. Denner goes defensive. Viganò is in P4, fighting to hold off Hilbrand and Senna Van Walstein. Around the outside goes Viganò. Up the inside, slides it sideways. Trefilov, heartbreakingly, is off the podium. There's Senna in the background, needs to think about the championship. Out front, no one will catch the driver from the Netherlands. A brilliant drive, a brilliant weekend. 93 world-class KZ2 drivers here at Lonato. But the winner is the pilot van the Netherlands. Stan Pex takes an amazing victory here this afternoon. Denner P2 and Matteo Viganò from Grid 2 stands on the final step of the podium. What a brilliant race, what a deserving victor. Stan Pex with the victory from Denner and Matteo Viganò. Wow, what a race. Let's take a look at the highlights. From pole position, Stan Pex launched it. Matteo Viganò into second place. Trefilov also got a good start as Victor Gustafsson into the marbles, and the Swede simply went straight ahead. Trefilov with a nice move down the inside to take the lead. He did the lion's share of the work throughout the race. Stan Pex simply says, no problem, go ahead and lead. I'll just watch, I'll wait. He did, and then he made his move to go down into the lead as Emilian Denner picked them off one by one. The Birillard teammates, Pedro Hilbrand and Giuseppe Palomba, fighting amongst themselves. Ultimately, they would both finish ahead of the round 1 winner, Senna Van Walstein. The last lap of the race, the penultimate lap, in fact, it was. Emilian Denner fighting with Duffy Trefilov, and that gave Stan Pex the lead, the advantage to go ahead and take a brilliant victory. 1.3 seconds, the final margin, down through the chicane, side by side. That was just awesome. With that, Stan was gone. Viganò sideways through, going up the hill, and would stand on the third step of the podium. A brilliant drive for the Lennox Racing driver to finish in P3. Stan Pex wins round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series, the fastest qualifier. Well, the perfect run for the Sonic Car team. They have been impressive. They come up one short today despite a brilliant drive from Denner, and bravissimo Matteo Viganò comes home in position 3. Heartbreak for Trefilov, who led for more than half the race to finish P4. Hilbrand, Palomba, Senna Van Walstein, who is still just the championship leader by a single point over Duffy Trefilov. Senna comes home in 7. Stay with us on WSK.it, the podium presentation for the KZ2 final in just a moment. The podium for an absolutely thrilling KZ2 final here at LONATO this afternoon. Finally, the Saudi kart dominance is broken. They do come up one short after a brilliant effort all weekend. We're just about ready to get underway with the KZ2 podium for round 2 of the WSK Super Master Series. Third place for the Lennox Racing Team, the Italian Matteo Vigano. The fastest qualifier drove brilliantly all weekend. He comes home in second place. The Frenchman for the Saudi Kart Racing Team, Emilien Denner. He is still smiling after a brilliant, strong, tough, intelligent drive. 93 drivers here this weekend in KZ2, and the Dutchman finishes on top. The winner of round 2 of the WSK Super Master Series from the Netherlands for SP Motorsport, Stan the Man Pex. The national anthem of the Netherlands. The podium for round 2 of the WSK Super Master Series. Third place, Matteo Vigano. Second, Emilien Denner. The winner from the Netherlands, Stan Pex. Grazie, Matteo. Merci beaucoup, Emilien. Stan, just quickly before you run off, let's have a quick word with you. 93 drivers here this weekend. You've come out on top. We use the word in the commentary, unintimidatable. They came for you, but you would not flinch. Brilliant drive. How did you hold them off?
Yeah, it was a hard race. We had a good speed, but it was very, very close. And yeah, in the beginning, we were sliding a little bit, and so a traveler got past, and I stayed calm behind. And on one point, I thought, now I need to go. So I did a good move on him in the chicane, and after that, I tried to manage, but. Yeah, I didn't have a gap, so I need to push all the time, so it was very hard. But at the end, yeah, we did it.
Congratulations, a brilliant victory. Stan Pex, winner of round 2 of the WSK Super Master Series. Stay with us on WSK.it, the junior final in just a moment.